Live from the studios of Coefficient Media in Jackson, Michigan, this episode is brought to you by Coefficient Media.
This is the Android App Show, episode number 76. This week, it's the Ice Cream Sandwich Social. We're going to talk about some ice cream sandwich features.
Welcome to the Android App Show.
The future of the telephone business is bright and rich with promise for the millions of telephone users like yourselves, whose quick acceptance and ready use of each improvement in telephone service has helped make possible an endless chain of accomplishments. What will it be this time?
Welcome to the Android App Show. Are we keeping that intro?
Yes. Yes,
All
we
right.
would just keep that intro.
Yeah, keep that intro.
You know, we're a little bit rusty. We thought, you know what, we'll give it a run through. It's been a little bit over a month since we
Really?
did yes, I checked the dates. It's been a little bit over a month since we published the last episode.
Wow.
You know, well, we had some circumstances come up, and we had to, first off,
I lost 20 pounds and gained 10 back, so,
you did?
well, a little bit.
I don't
not
even,
quite 10.
I haven't been keeping track of mine, but I've been hitting the elliptical still, so,
The elliptical.
yeah. I got an
Wow.
elliptical in my house.
How fancy.
Yeah, you'd think so.
Oh, this is shiny.
It's not that fancy.
There we go.
Shining on us.
Shining. There we go.
But I'm pretty excited to keep this going. No, we didn't die. No, you know, we're not stopping the shows or whatever.
Not dead
whatever.
yet.
Yeah, I'm not dead yet. But yeah,
This is Android. No one dies on Android.
that's right. But we have some big news this week. We're not going to actually do any app reviews.
That's too soon.
We're going to dedicate the whole show to
Oh.
Ice Cream Sandwich,
Delicious.
the new version of Android. Of course, Android 4.0.
And I have an ice cream sandwich right here. I'm going to eat.
Yeah, Dave wanted to go get ice cream sandwiches so
I
bad.
did.
And I'm like, resist.
And that's
The
why
diets.
I
Gotta lose weight.
Yeah. See,
Because, like, you know, you could get the low-fat ice cream sandwiches, but why even eat an ice cream sandwich if you're going to eat low-fat? You know?
yeah.
That's like no sense.
I had an ice cream sandwich this past weekend, though.
You did?
I did in California. Which
Yeah,
they're
you
not
were.
as good out there.
It was crazy. It was crazy. I kept seeing you checking, like, on Facebook and stuff like that, and all these weird locations, you know, and pictures and stuff. I'm like, Dave, what are you doing in California?
I had to go out there and speak some sense into the Google people.
Yeah, right. You should have called up Ashley, you know, friend of the show.
Oh, is she in San Francisco?
No, she's L.A.
Yeah.
/ somewhere around
That's still
LA.
pretty far away. I should have let people on the show know that I was going out to San Francisco.
Totally.
We could have done an Android meetup.
There you go. I could have like remoted in and been like, "Hey, I'm
Yeah,
kind of
so-
here."
I was at like a super nerdy thing though. It was a web development conference for Drupal.
Yeah, you don't get much nerdier than that unless it's like a Joomla web developer conference.
Joomla.
It's super nerdy.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get back to the less nerdy things like Android open source.
Yeah, just down
telephones.
a couple notches of nerd though. It's not
Yep.
it's not too much. Yeah,
Those smartphones.
this is a big deal. Okay, so we want to talk about all the new features that are coming to Ice Cream Sandwich. First off, we're talking about a unified API between phones and tablets, which we have never had up until this point, you know. So what does that mean for you as a user? Well, it means that nobody's going to be keeping track of how many tablet apps there are out there for Android. It's going to be how many 4.0 apps, like whatever apps are made for the latest version of Android. And the interfaces, they're built on fragments or whatever. There's a lot of complicated stuff that goes into it. I don't want to bore you too much, but it essentially means that developers can make apps that work seamlessly on both devices.
Oh, yeah.
So in every app that's made for Ice Cream Sandwich works for both devices. So either you can take advantage of the fancy stuff that makes it look completely different on a tablet than it would on a phone, still the same app, or the UI elements scale differently, behave differently on different devices, whether it's a phone or not.
Now, is that a new thing, or have they always done that?
This is a completely new thing. So like they had said, one of the things that's conditional is the notification bar. Depending on the size of the screen, your notifications will either be in the top in the drop down, or once your screen gets above a certain size, I'm sorry, I don't have the information, but I only know that it's a murky number.
Explain
The notifications go down into the corner like what Honeycomb has. So completely different, setup. So it's kind of cool. They're changing it to scale. Apple iOS has bet on one method with iOS, which is develop tablet apps and phone apps separately.
Yeah.
Or make them super apps, or what do they call them? Plus apps, right?
Plus.
So, but you still have to develop them separately and package them together. Android is taking a different tack, saying no, it's all the same. We're talking about from phones to TVs. It's all going to be the same.
That's kind of nice.
Yeah.
I mean, to be able to have like the same code base and just have things scale, I mean, for me that makes sense. I mean, that's how you do regular apps. That's how you do websites. That's how you do most of that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, especially the web developers out there are going to appreciate that.
Yeah.
So, but it's going to be more simplified, more graceful than some of the hacks that you have to do on websites for multiple screen sizes.
Yeah.
So, but one of the other things too, just like on Honeycomb now, it has support for buttons on the screen. But here's the interesting thing though: if you already have a phone that's going to be upgraded to Honeycomb. Not Honeycomb, sorry, Ice Cream Sandwich, and it has physical buttons on it, then you don't need the buttons on the screen.
That's true.
You can just use the physical buttons.
So it allows for that?
Yes.
That's nice.
If you have them, then it just disappears the buttons. If you don't, like on the new Nexus Galaxy or Galaxy Nexus, I don't know which way it is, it doesn't have any buttons at all.
Yeah.
So cool stuff.
One thing that I've been liking about iOS 5 is that drop-down menu, that thing where
that notification bar.
Yeah, the notification bar where the weather's in there and stuff.
Yeah,
that's cool. But their Android is one-upping it, aren't they?
Yeah, they are kind of making the notification bar more rich, so that you can have more content inside your notifications, like the music controls or whatever. Standardizing that. You've seen some of the customizations on phones, like mainly Samsung phones. You'd probably be most familiar with the music controls on there. But now, like on CyanogenMod, you just you have, say, this list of notifications. Like each one of my fingers is an entry. You want to get rid of one, you just swipe it like that, and that notification disappears. You want to get rid of this one, that one disappears.
Hey, wait, don't.
And then it collapses up so that you only have two, instead of having to hit a clear button to clear all your notifications out. Because frankly, a lot of times I don't want to get rid of some notifications. I want to keep it up there because I'll check on that later. Just leave it there to remind me. Don't have to mess with it. So that's pretty cool.
I've been loving that thing where you swipe the icon in the notification on iOS and it goes right to it.
Yes, right to the app. That's nice.
Good.
They are going to have some features on Ice Cream Sandwich that let you delve right into apps as well.
Oh, cool.
So, and again, you've probably seen it on other phones. Some of these features, you could say they're stealing them from Apple, but some of them, frankly, they're stealing from their own manufacturers.
Right.
Changes that have been made to Android. So,
which makes sense. I mean,
yeah. Well,
isn't that the whole purpose of open source?
Yeah, but the changes that they made aren't open source.
Oh.
They're just taking the stuff.
Oh.
But, what are they going to say? They're going to, we'll sue you. Well, fine. You're not in the Android Alliance anymore. Why don't you just go buy Windows, crap 7? Or,
well, they're already paying for it.
Yeah.
Oh, snap.
Boom. That is, yeah. We have some stuff to talk about in the tech show this week.
Yeah, we do.
So we have a phone review, and we're going to cover a couple news stories, including that one. But yeah, stay tuned for that.
Yeah.
But talking about stealing stuff from iOS, the folder drop.
Folder drop.
Yeah, so on iOS 4. When was that introduced? 4 point something? It wasn't 4, I don't think, was it?
I think it was 3.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, well, whatever. You make folders by taking an icon, long pressing it, holding it over another icon, boom, it creates a folder out of those two icons.
One new item.
So, yeah, he's got his screen reader on or whatever. Now, folder creation in Android works just like it does in iOS, which I like to see because it's very intuitive. So, some other more intuitive things, they added a widgets tab to the app drawer, which, okay, this has been one of the long-standing problems since Android first come out. People would get widgets. They didn't understand how to work them. You installed it, you try to click it to open it. I don't get it. Now, whenever you open up your app drawer, it'll have... it'll have a tab up on the top that says apps, which is your regular app drawer. But on the right next to it says widgets. You click on that, and then it lets you configure the widget, puts it right on your home screen. And another new feature is it lets you resize it on the on the default launcher. Of course, there were some third-party launchers which I use, ADWX, Launcher Pro. There's some other ones too, but those were they're the originals. I give them shout-outs. Where you could resize a widget that was on your desktop. Of course, now that's supported in the standard thing. So some other things that are just now making it in that should have been in a long time. Screenshots. You can hold the power button and the volume down button and take screenshots. So, those of us that review apps, I think are going to like that. They did some improvements to copy and paste. That's not, really that amazing, but I'll tell you what it is. Face unlock. So this is going to make your iPhone, friends jealous. All you have to do is you wake the phone, you look at it, it unlocks. It looks at your face and it recognizes you. Because built inside the operating system is a facial recognition engine. So, that's... let me talk about that some more too. Okay, there's just a ton of stuff. This is going to be is going to be a giant list. So believe me, you're in for more. Since it does face detection, you can do things like when you record a video, they have this cool thing where you can change the size of eyes or the size of the face of the person, and it records the video and everything is still live, with the changes that you made because it detects the face, makes the change all on the fly. It also does green screening where it puts their face onto another background. So I thought that was pretty cool. But they updated the camera app to include image stabilization, which they like to talk about in iOS 5. Of course, the face detection, but it does panorama now, where you hold the phone up or tablet and you take a panoramic shot, and then it stitches it together and boom, shows you the whole panoramic image. So, and of course, that's built in. You can get other apps for it, to do that, but whatever. Who cares about that, right?
Who cares?
But it also does time lapse and some cool one-click touch-ups you can make to it. Finally, users of Google Plus are going to like this. You can do video hangouts.
That's cool.
On the new Google Plus app inside Ice Cream Sandwich.
Can't do that on iOS, can you?
No, you cannot.
Whoa.
In fact, we're still waiting on that open spec to be published tomorrow or whatever.
Tomorrow?
Next week or something. Soon, I don't know. You remember when they we're going to make this an open spec and we're going to publish it and totally. Everybody can use it and all this awesome. Yeah. It's bullcrap. So they brought tabs into the browser. I can't believe how many updates they have on this. Voice to text has been improved. Not only is it much quicker, but it does continuous dictation. So when you're dictating an email, it actually types it out on there as you're speaking instead of waiting for you to do the whole thing and sending it to the server and coming back. So that's kind of cool. Data usage. Okay, one of the big things about using a smartphone today is how much you're going to get hosed by your data plan. Okay, the carriers now have come out with this agreement where they're going to warn people, okay, before they start charging you. How gracious of them. Before they start charging you for going over on your data, they're going to send you a warning. Well, Android's saying, okay, well, we're not going to rely on them. We're going to build it right into the operating system where you can set warnings for yourself every month. And when you hit certain, what would you call them?
Caps? Milestones.
You can set warnings so you can keep yourself on track. And you can set a hard cap, like David said. So you literally could cut yourself off on 3G or 4G data at a certain point and only allow yourself to use Wi-Fi after that so you won't be charged. Pretty good stuff.
Beautiful.
But it gets better, Dave, because they drill down to individual apps and they show you how much individual apps are using for data. And not only on an individual app level, it shows you how much that app uses in the foreground, like say when you have maps open, and in the background, like say when latitude's automatically updating.
So you can see if you have an app that's kind of just like, sucking.
All the time. Because data usage equals battery usage.
Yeah.
That's...
And now the carriers are getting a little more crazy. It equals like money.
Yeah. So
it could
dollar signs in your eyes. You can worry about that. Telling you what, man, Ice Cream Sandwich 4.0.
Delicious.
Tastes just like it smells. Delicious.
What?
It's a it's a Chappelle reference.
No, my ice cream doesn't smell.
It doesn't. I feel sorry for you. So, on from data usage, they've pretty much copied the Bump app, so you can NFC stuff
That's cool.
to people. Yeah, it's kind of cool. They changed the multitasking interface, so it looks like Honeycomb. Instead of having a box pop up with icons, you get a sliding live preview that you just flick up and down like you would on a tablet. If you've used Honeycomb, a lot of the stuff in Ice Cream Sandwich is going to seem very familiar to you. Let's see. One of my favorite things that I picked out, they use Honeycomb's calendar widget. So the calendar widget that's on there right now, very crappy. Shows the next event, takes up a bunch of space. The Honeycomb widget, though, is a scrollable widget that shows you individual entries for your upcoming events and divides off by day, etc. Shows you the time for each calendar entry. Much, much better. Much better.
Yeah. I like that one.
So there's some other kind of deep in the woods nerdy stuff like Wi-Fi Direct, so that you can connect directly to another device using Wi-Fi without using a router. Almost like the old crossover cable days. You remember those, Dave?
Beam it to me.
Oh yeah. Oh, you're going back even farther. I was talking about the crossover network cable where you change the order of the twisted pair.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I was talking about beaming it.
Yeah. Well, we talked about that last in the iPad show.
Sure we did.
With the IR sensor on the front of the Mac.
Not even the front of the Mac. That was on Palm Pilot, man.
What the heck did I just watch? I just watched a movie. Who's that guy that always he's a action hero kicking people all the time? With the hair always slicked back and in a ponytail.
Chuck Norris?
No.
Oh, that guy. I just watched him in a movie also. Antonio...
No, he looks like Antonio Banderas. I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about, though. Come on.
Mm-hmm. You gotta know.
But, okay, I just watched this movie where they're on this train.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he pulls out a Newton. It plugs it into the phone port and faxes a fax or whatever and cites it. I was like, yes! I was like, there's a Newton on there. That's crazy. That is crazy.
You're crazy.
One of the other things, though, there's a lot of third-party device support. This supports the HDP protocol over Bluetooth, which is the health device protocol. It's going to do things like, just for an example, I know I had a family member recently that had to do one of these. It's a little bit weird, though. They wear this heart monitor where it tracks what your heart is, and then it alerts you if it goes over a certain beats per second. And then if you have an event, you have to take this thing to a landline phone, okay, which meant that this person had to drive to somebody else's house because they don't have a landline. They have cell phones. You had to take it to a landline phone, put it to the speaker on the phone, to the receiver, and it would fax. It would like scream like a data modem in this thing and dial a server and transmit the data. Well, what this will allow you to do is these more advanced devices have Bluetooth connectivity. Well, with your Android phone, the device works with the phone, okay, say it's monitoring your heart rate. There's any data or whatever that needs to be sent out, it can send it right to your phone and maybe like some sort of an app that you have on your phone, and the app then transmits that data right to your doctor. So much simpler, much more intuitive, and you can look at a graph yourself, seeing what your heart rate's doing or whatever.
And I can see why that's like a profile, and it's not just like any Bluetooth device uses that, because like you don't want anybody like snooping on your health information.
Exactly. And they're talking about a lot of this stuff being introduced in the hospital too, because one of the other advantages to Bluetooth is that it is short range. So even if you have a ton of these devices, there's only so many in an area. It wouldn't clutter up the spectrum that much. So some of the other developer things that might get you excited, there's distinct tool types of input now, which is stylus, finger, mouse, and eraser.
Mouse?
A mouse, that's right. And it takes a 3-button input, the 3 clicks or whatever, plus a forward and backward. So I guess total of 5-button input mouse. Pretty cool stuff. But what would it be? What would mouse input be without a hover event? So we talked about Steve Jobs liked to say one of the main problems, aside from everything else that he had against Flash, was that Flash doesn't work on touch devices because a lot of Flash is designed with a hover event in mind. So this is one of the things that they're introducing now is the hover enter and the hover exit event, so that you can make these apps for Ice Cream Sandwich, which again work for all devices.
Yeah.
Okay, so that if you are, say, on some sort of an Android device that has a mouse, we haven't seen them yet, but if it has a mouse, it can behave in a certain way too. So you can make it work more like a computer app would instead of a touch-based interface. But see, the interesting thing is that there's all the support for third-party hardware, so you could just connect a Bluetooth mouse, and then boom, on your phone or tablet.
Totally.
HDMI out to a TV. You've got Bluetooth peripherals connected to it. Your TV's now an Android computer.
Oh,
So pretty extreme stuff, I think.
that's pretty crazy.
But it's not just mice. They have Bluetooth game controllers, USB game controllers. Okay, so you take your Ice Cream Sandwich tablet or phone, that handy little HDMI out port, plug it into your TV, set it there on the stand. Go sit down on your couch with your game controller and game away.
That's nice.
So you don't have to buy anything extra, whatever, just the cable that goes to your TV, and you have a gaming console.
Nice.
So what I would look forward to, you have these quad-core processors coming out at the end of this year.
Yep.
Cal-L is what they're called, the Tegra 4 or whatever processors. Tegra 3 with 4 cores. I don't know how they're doing that exactly, but it's a 4-core processor, okay? Think about that. 4-core processor plus a powerful GPU. The Xbox 360 has a 3-core processor. Okay, and again, this is the same architecture, the ARM architecture. The PlayStation 3 has 7 cores. But I don't want to get into a fanboy discussion as to what's better. But the point is, if you have a 4-core, device, that's pretty sick. That's a good gaming console right there. And it does HDMI output. Come on. You don't even have to buy a gaming console. You already got your tablet, and boom, you can play games on your TV.
Yeah.
So, and finally, okay, we're getting down to the last item here that I wanted to talk about. Dave and I have been talking a lot about accessibility on the show. Okay. And one of the things that Ice Cream Sandwich is bringing to the table is a vastly improved accessibility feature for Android. Now, it's doing some of the things that iOS has already done, but the first thing I don't think I've seen on anything else. During the setup, when you first get the device, a user can draw a clockwise square starting with the top left corner, like, or from your angle, it would be like this, But you do that, and the setup will change to accessibility mode that's more geared towards the sight challenged, blind people, or any number of disabilities or whatever.
Right.
So it makes it so when you buy the device, you don't have to have somebody else help you set it up.
That's cool.
That's very cool. Independence is a very big deal for people with disabilities. And the other thing is Explore by Touch mode. This is something that iOS already has, but lately we've been exploring a lot of apps that essentially replace the standard experience in Android with another experience, and there's a lot of different options out there. We might end up getting to one of these shows that do accessibility apps, but every time we want to do it, I keep finding really cool other apps.
It's a deep subject too.
It is. I've spent probably $15 or $20, and you know how I spend money on apps. I'm cheap. I've spent $15 or $20 already in just accessibility apps. Half of them are crap. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I'm kind of upset that I put the money into it, but that's what you get with a 15-minute refund window. But with this Explore by Touch mode, it changes input so that the first touch announces what you're touching, and then when you touch it again, then you act upon it. So if you want to open something, like you click on browser, it says browser, you click on it again, it opens it. Yeah. And same thing with links inside the browser, buttons inside the browser. You want to move an item or whatever, you click it, and then you can hold it down and move it and do whatever with it.
That's cool.
But I think it's a lot better than some of the other options that we've been seeing for accessibility. Right. And frankly, I would love to see, of all the apps that the main operating system could absorb, accessibility apps should be primary. It's kind of, at this point, Android 2 point whatever, 3 point whatever, it is a joke for accessibility. I mean, the interface it does not work if you're a blind person.
Yeah.
And with these touch devices, I mean, it's the perfect phone. It's the perfect consumption device, for personal consumption, because you can put the earbud right in your ear, navigate through, get information from it.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to see them actually continue on this path, though. I hope this is not the last step. So I'd like to see some competition on accessibility.
Did you see what I just discovered for the iPhone?
With the flashing light for the alarm?
Yeah. You can have a flash for the alarm.
Yeah.
Can you guys do that? You could probably do that for a long time.
Maybe if it's a custom alarm app, but I haven't really checked out a lot of alarm apps.
Well,
the main one
for
is...
any notification now, it can flash. So like
Really?
if you're getting a phone call, which is perfect for deaf people,
Yeah.
or if you're getting, like if you get a text message, it goes off. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, you could put your phone face down when you're sleeping or whatever, and that light comes on, lights up the room.
Yeah. That's what I'm going to do tonight.
So, again, there's probably some stuff that we missed, but it's a very exhausting list. In the show notes, I'm going to put down, I have 29 different entries, and again, the 29th is an A and B entry, too, so we'll say 30 entries in here for features that are new to Ice Cream Sandwich and that are impressive. I even left a few off this list that I thought, I don't know, that's not really that big of a deal. But whatever. So if you want to, definitely go into our show notes. Of course, if you're listening to this in the app, there's a show notes section, or visit the webpage, theandroidappshow.com, and check out the show notes for the episode, number 76. So I think we're all done with the show for today.
Yeah, I think we are.
We want to come back next time with episode 77. We're going to be reviewing some apps, but there was just so much that I wanted to talk about today for Ice Cream Sandwich, Dave, that I was like, you know what? Forget the apps.
Forget them.
Forget the apps this time. We're going to talk about this revolutionary, magical, amazing new operating system.
Yeah.
So, and I enjoyed doing it. If you want to watch more of these episodes, past episodes, find out how do you download our app, well, we have a link right up on theandroidappshow.com. Check that out. You can read show notes too.
Yeah.
Show
Or
notes
if you
are
want
awesome.
to, if one show every month is not enough for you, we're going to be doing more.
Yeah.
But you can also follow us on Twitter. We keep that updated much more often. Android App Show is our name.
And you can view some of our YouTube content. Of course, we have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/theandroidappshow. Like us, subscribe to us. We have some subscribers on there, but it's not as big as the podcast is. I'm not really pushing the YouTube like I should be.
Yeah.
The YouTubes.
We should. People like YouTube. They do.
People also like the Blueberry Podcast Network, though.
It's true.
The more I dig into it, the more I like blueberry.com, BLUBRRY.com. It's like Pro-Am podcasts. Really cool stuff.
Yeah, it's cool. And that's it for this week. Thanks for joining us. And, dude, go out there and play with your phones. Let us know what you think.
Yes.
It's fun.
I'll be excited when Cyanogen Mod team gets a hold of the source for Ice Cream Sandwich and it comes to my Evo.
Ice cream sandwiches
That's-
for everyone.
I'm hungry.
Ice cream sandwich. Delicious.